so let's see what's going on in your life. Let's see what this moon in Cancer is bringing to you. I feel honestly this heavy energy of confrontation of feelings, right? Confronting your feelings. Also, if you're an empath, try not to identify with your feelings, right? And here's a good lesson for everyone, actually. If you catch yourself saying things like, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, the way you say that, you're identifying with certain feelings, saying that is your identity, right? That is you. And I feel that if we change our narrative a bit when talking to ourselves, it helps us to really compartmentalize that it is not us. I'm feeling angry, right? Not I am angry. You are not anger, right? So you blah, 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 blah. I've been smoking some weed, okay? Give me a break. But yeah, so you don't want to catch yourself identifying with feelings as though those feelings are you. You want to change the narrative in your self-talk and how you talk with others and say things like, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling, but not saying that you are what you're feeling, I feel heavy to, I feel like words. Okay, I feel heavily inspired to tell you that, though, that you need to work on the way that you communicate with yourself and with others. You need to make sure that you're using verbiage, because your brain is the boss of your body. And if your brain is saying, I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm these things, then your body will respond to that. Your body will create what it needs to create for that, right? If you are anger all of a sudden, right, then your body will heighten those emotions and heighten, get you in fight or flight mode, and things like that. And so rather than telling your body what you are, just say, I am feeling this. I'm feeling that. I'm experiencing this right now. But I'm not that. That does not define me. That is not what I am. But yeah. I don't know. I feel heavy that I should tell you that. You need to work on your self-talk. Hi, Wraith. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. And also, if you're an empath, you could be taking on other people's energies, right? And then identifying with that energy like it's yours, even though the feeling did not originate in you. You're a sponge. You're absorbing all the energy around you, all the emotions around you. And so, part of that, especially with the longing for home, homesick for the stars, you're feeling vulnerable, right? You're longing for better circumstances. You're wanting to feel at home in yourself and in the world and with everything, right? And so part of that is creating a sense of belonging. Change your narrative a bit. If you're going to identify with feelings, say, I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm ecstatic, I'm, identify with the good shit. I'm love, right? Identify with that shit. When you identify with it, your vibration changes, right? Your vibration goes higher. And when you would make the conscious effort to identify with the better feeling, yeah, I may be feeling sad right now, but I'm happy. Right? I'm a happy person. That's how you, change your narrative. I'm identifying with happiness. I'm experiencing a moment of unhappiness, though. I don't know. Because, there could be circumstances. And this is also part of the negative bias in the human head, the psyche, right? The negative bias is that you could have a million great things happen for you in a day, and then one bad thing. And then all of a sudden, when you reflect on your whole day, guess what you're focused on? The one bad thing, not the millions of other good things that happen throughout your day. My aunt did this thing once where she journaled for like a whole year, and she only included the things that made her happy, right? And only the good shit for the whole year. Every day she's like, oh, today somebody paid for my coffee. Oh, today somebody, today I went and helped out my grandma with da 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 da. Today my husband took me out to dinner. Da da da. She only brought up the good shit, only the shit that she wanted to remember, right? And then so at the end of the year, when she looks back on her whole year, she's like, holy shit, I had a great fucking year, because she's not hyper fixated on the few negative events that took place throughout that year, right? So I feel this energy that we really need to work on the way that we identify with our experiences also, right? Like, one bad thing can't ruin a whole day, right? I freaking, for example, like last week I got hit by a truck while I was stopped at a red light, right? Huge semi truck, right in the back of the car. I was on my way to school to teach some kids, and in the moment, right, this girl that I take care of, she was sitting in the car with me, and she normally sits in the back seat, but she was like, you know what, today I'm gonna sit in the front seat. And I was like, cool, right? And so by chance we get hit by a truck, and it was a blessing that she was sitting in the front seat, right, instead of the back seat. And that changed the entire perspective of my day, because all I could think was, thank God Theo was not in the back seat. Thank God, like, even though all this shit happened, I'm thinking, what good is coming out of this situation, right? Like, and all the other shit, all the bureaucratic shit, yeah, it sucks, right? But I'm not gonna let it be like the end of my day or the end of my life because one bad thing occurred. Because throughout the rest of that day, a lot of good shit happened, right? And so there's seeing the blessing under every circumstance, under every scenario. There's something good to pull out of it, right? I ain't even gotten to the tarot cards, guys. I'm just talking. Sometimes I feel like we need this. Sometimes I feel like we do need a little talking to. Maybe today we don't do tarot. Let's just do this. My page started out as a vlog, and then it evolved into tarot, actually. And so today, I don't know, I'm feeling heavy. Like, we should just talk about this. Talk about the way that we identify with the world, the way that we identify with scenarios, circumstances, the way that we find acceptance in the inevitable, right? If something's already taken place, if something's already happened, we can't undo it, right? We can't go back in the past and change it. What can we do? With what we've got, we can move forward. We can push on to the next thing, right? It's like, for example, like, I had released 2 pairs of shoes, because I design shoes on the side too. Whatever. I have a lot of things I do. I released 2 this year, and one was a great hit, great sales, all that. Second one, not so much. People were like, meh, whatever. And you know what? That's fair. Okay, it wasn't my best design, and I recognize that. But I appreciate having the opportunity to, like, do that. To put my stuff out into the world and see how the world responds to it. Like, I'm gonna be doing merch forever because I love art. I love creating, and so I don't take it as a personal offense if one of my things doesn't take off like another one of my things did, or if, whatever the case is, because that just gives me room to grow. It's like, okay, back to the drawing board. What do the people want? you know? And also, if you guys have ideas, throw it in the comments. What do the people want? I want to know. Like, so, I mean, because creativity is kind of my gig. I love it. Any kind of art, any kind of expression. I want to be in on that. Um, and I feel like that's something too that when when you're looking back at your life, you don't want to look back and be like, I just worked and slept and ate and took showers for my whole life, right? You want to look back and have memories outside of that, right? And this is how we quantify the value of moments over money, right? This is how we really measure it, because you can work your whole life away, but without finding joy in it, without enjoying it, without learning to embrace your present moment and really love what you're doing, you're just gonna feel like life got complacent and you got stuck, right? That's why I really think people should do what they love, right? I know strippers who love being strippers. I love tarot and I love, and I love working with kids and doing all this stuff, so I do it, and it's like, um, yeah, I've turned down better paying jobs probably, but in the long run, I got the best paying job, right? The best rewarding, scenario for me, because now, I get to be a nanny, a teacher, I get to hang out with kids and act like a goofball all day. Um, and that's rewarding as fuck. I wouldn't trade it, and the day I got this job, it was between this job and being a drug and alcohol counselor. So, like, I could have done the other thing, but why? Why not when I can be Peter Pan? um, and so, find what you love and do that thing, My friend Angel, she just recently started a business of wire wrapping, like, stones and turning them into pendants and things like that. Um, and I have so many creative friends. Like, I have a friend who she just paints all different styles of, like, dolls and mermaids and stuff, and it's dope as hell. Like, incorporate what you love into your daily life, right? Even if it's just little doses, even if it's just, if you're a writer, just writing one page a night for your book or whatever, or, writing one poem, doing something to kind of have your creative release, so you don't feel like you're just living to work, right? You need to live to enjoy what you do. Um, and, if you need a few side hustles along the way, do the side hustles. Do what you gotta do. Get a part-time job while you're chasing your dreams. Whatever you gotta do. But I also believe that when you really want to do something, nothing can get in your way, right? Nothing will stop you, right? Look at Elon Musk. He's had like a million setbacks, and guess what? That fool's still succeeding. He's still coming through. He's like, what? And that's the kind of grit you gotta have. Like, so you stumble. So some things, don't pan out the way that other things would, or whatever. And that's fine. That's a learning lesson. Or a learning lesson. Oh, that's a lesson for you to learn from, right? Um, honor your path. Right? Honor your talents. If you have God-given talents, think about that. That's literally your divinity is saying this is your purpose in life. This is what you're meant to do. If you're an excellent singer, guess what, chicken butt? It is your job to do some singing. All right? If you're an excellent guitarist, guess what? That's it. If you're an excellent painter, I don't give a fuck. These are the natural things that just came with you, right? This was a byproduct of you. All your creations, all the shit that you're putting out into the world, it's all a byproduct of you. This is how you leave your mark on the world. Like, that bam, you existed and you were dope and the world loved it, right? Like, I mean, look at Van Gogh, you know? Like, I mean, he wasn't necessarily liked in life, but, you know, whatever. His creations made all of it something worth. I mean, it made him legendary, right? We'll never forget his name. We'll never forget what he has painted. We'll never not know who Van Gogh is, you know? The fool who cut his own ear off for love. Like, come on. But, you know, there's a lot to learn from just changing little things in your life. You know, change even your perspective on work. Everyone's always waiting, counting down the hours until they get out. But, like, what if you actually tried to enjoy it? What if you were actually like, you know what? I chose this work and this is, you know, what if you actually made the effort to show up every day and like what you're doing? You know, because we always show up like, nah, another day at work, you know, and it's like, but does it have to be like that? What if we showed up and we're just like, I love the people here. I love the music playing. I love this thing about this, you know, focus on rather than the few things that trigger you or piss you off, let those be the things that you shut out. In the same way that you let the good things be shut out in the past when one bad experience happened, right? Instead, switch that, right? Instead of shutting out the good to hyperfixate on the bad, shut out the bad and hyperfixate on the good, right? What is going right? What do you have to be grateful for? You know, whatever. You can learn to love your existence in this moment, in these circumstances. It's literally a choice. Um, it's how you look at your situation. Your own perception is the life that you live in, right? The word rapture can actually be roughly translated as ascension, right? And in Buddhism, ascension means to reach nirvana in your own psyche, right? Because Buddhists believe in reincarnation, so you're going to be one life after another. And I believe similarly for scientific reasons. But, yeah, I do believe in reincarnation, and I believe that in order to reach the state of heaven or nirvana, to ascend to that, it really has so much to do with our personal philosophy and how we live it. You know, philosophy isn't just something to hear about or to read about. It's something to live about, right? And so, you know, as you're going on about your day and your life, like, really think about those micro decisions, right? Think about, because if you want to change your circumstances, you have to change yourself, right? You can't do the same shit over and over expecting different results. But if you make alterations to your self-talk, to the way that you talk to the other people, to the way that you address the world, the way you see the world, the things you choose to focus on, right? In life, like, if you choose, go a day without complaining about one thing, right? And if you catch yourself trying to complain about something, mark your own tally marks, right? Do something. Let yourself know, like, hey, we fucked up. We gotta come back, you know, and then try to, you know, not complain, not talk about others, you know, talk about positive shit. It's hard, okay? I'm telling you, it's fucking hard. When I made the decision to do that, hardest thing I've ever done. I was like, I can't complain about shit. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm just born mad. But, it did change a lot, though. It changed a lot about my life, you know. When you choose to be actually non-judgmental, like, where you actually don't want to say a bad thing about another person, that it changes the foundations, right? It really moves your world into a whole new direction. And you'll notice that as you raise your energy, you will be more capable of effortlessly attracting what you want in your life, right? It's going to be a lot easier if you're making these decisions, these micro changes in yourself. Not changing your personality, just identifying with the more optimistic side of your personality, right? Bad shit might happen, but that doesn't mean better days are never going to happen again, right? Better times are never going to happen. I don't believe in that. I believe that we have to experience a multitude of all the feelings, right? A big flow. And if you know how to go with the flow of it, you're like, oh, okay, so today we're hibernating. We don't need to be around other people's energies. If you're not feeling good, like, let yourself, sit in your own energy, be your own, get in your creations, and, really make sure that you don't enter other people's worlds in bad energy too, right? And that's something I'm not speaking as a perfect person who, doesn't fuck up, because clearly I I'm still working on not complaining, right? I'm still working on being non-judgmental. As soon as I'm like, fine, I'm not going to be judgmental, then they have to put Dahmer on Netflix. Like, oh my god, I'm supposed to not judge. Like, okay, that's it's hard, right? It's hard, but it's not impossible. And I feel that making these little shifts in our own energy and choosing, like, hey, today I'm just gonna focus on being super, super whatever, not toxic positivity, right? I don't believe in that either. I feel like you need to have a solid balance of who you are, right? You don't see me out here pretending to be all hyper excited about everything every second, Um, I feel like my sun and my moon are both Aquarius, so what you see is what you get. This is me inside and out. And I feel that that's important too, to have that kind of transparency with yourself, where, I'm not going to be fake positive. I'm not going to be fake excited. I'm not going to be like, guess what? In 10 days, I could change your life. I'm not that guy, okay? I'm gonna peacefully smoke my weed and just tell you what it be like and tell you what I'm working on, okay? Because these are definitely things that I'm working on. I'm not coming at you as like some wiser older fish that knows better than anybody else, and I want that to be very clear. I'm showing up as like one of the young fish who is just figuring this shit out too. Like, because that's what the journey is about, right? It's about figuring shit out and then helping other people along the path, right? I don't know where you're at on your journey. And, this may be useful, this may be not. This might just be, whatever. But I feel that it's important for us to really recognize our own behaviors, our own self-talk, our own perception of the world, right? What we choose to fixate on, what we choose to acknowledge, what we choose to think on. It's all choice, It's all a choice. And, if a conversation is starting and there's not one nice thing you can say in the conversation, or everything that you're about to say is going to be negative, don't say it, right? I don't care how useful you think it is to the conversation, it's not. Like, if people are talking bad about somebody and you're like, oh, well, I've got some news on that, well, just dial it back. You don't got the news. You don't need to tell nobody nothing. Like, sometimes, and it's kind of like that old saying from the 90s, back in my day. But yeah, it's, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. Like, and just leave it at that. Like, it's not hard. Oh, no, correction. It's hard to be a good person, but it's worth it because it's hard, right? It's worth it because it takes effort. And your energy shifts. Your own confidence changes when you start being real about shit, just real about it, you know? And you'll slip up. We all slip up. You'll fuck it up too. Don't worry, right? And guess what? Ain't nobody gonna judge you for fucking it up a couple times, as long as you're doing your best to outgrow those old mindsets, those old ways of being, right? As long as you're in a constant state of expansion, and you're like, and you can address like, oh, I fucked up there. I accidentally talked shit. Like, my bad. Um, and just address the behavior, it's like parenting yourself, dog. It's like actually parenting yourself. Watch your mouth, right? I say that to myself all the time. Watch your mouth. I should get a tattoo that just says watch your mouth. Because, like, I have to remind myself. I have to be like, dude, don't be a dick, right? Because sometimes some people will say some dumb shit, okay? In your presence, right in front of your face, right? They'll be there and they'll say the thing, and you're gonna want to be like, motherfucker, you want to go off. You want to tell them why they're wrong, why they're dumb, all the shit, whatever. You're gonna want to. But think about all the strength it takes, all the restraint it takes to be like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna let people say what they gonna say, do what they gonna do. I ain't gotta participate. I ain't gotta be part of it, right? That is empowering, right? Choosing your conversations that you add to. There's a lot of conversations I won't add to. I just let people go off, do their talking, and I'll just sit back and let them do, because I don't control other people. I'm not going to be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't talk like that, or maybe you shouldn't say that. I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm going to let people talk how they want and be who they want. I'm just going to live a perfect example of, well, not a perfect example, okay, an almost perfect example of my philosophy, right? What I believe in, my values, my morals. I'm going to make an effort to just be a living example rather than telling anybody else how to live, rather than, except for on here, but y'all clicked on this, you chose this, okay? You can click off anytime, but I feel like we're vibing, but whatever. Yeah, so, I would never, go out of my way to be like, oh, you don't do this, don't do that. It's more like, okay, I choose to be a living example. So what is a living example of my personal philosophy, right? This, right? And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes there's setbacks, and sometimes there's triggers, and there's shit, and there's learning new things. How do I handle this new situation? How do I deal with that? And it's like, eventually, you get it. It's like walking. Eventually, you pick it up. You might fall a few times. You might stumble. You might fall even after you're great at walking. You're a fluent walker now, and you'll still trip over air, right? Okay, because that's how it is. I tripped over air like 2 days ago, and I was like, literally, bro, there was nothing. I didn't trip on anything. Flat ground, I tripped. Like, and guess what? It's the same shit with changing your thoughts, changing your behaviors, doing the things. It's like, you're gonna trip. There's gonna be slips. It's gonna be hard, and it's all about keeping yourself in check, though, and making a constant effort to keep yourself in check. Being your own parent, right? But anyway, I gotta get on with my day. This was fun. Y'all got one card today, okay? This is a record for my tarot readings, but today was kind of a vloggy day. I don't know. I miss talking to you guys like friends. But anyway, namaste. I love you guys. Talk to you later.